Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Derek from Simnett Nutrition. I'm a holistic nutritionist and YouTuber, and I love helping people eat better and live healthier lives. So today for this budget meal prep, I'm gonna show you how to turn all of this into 5 days worth of delicious and healthy meals for under $10 per day. These meals will provide you with 2,400 calories and over 100 grams of protein per day. So I'll go over the full macro and nutrient breakdown at the end, so definitely stick around until then if you are interested.
So I went to Walmart to get everything in this video. I live up here in Canada and groceries have gotten crazy expensive lately. And although I don't often shop here, Walmart has the cheapest prices for groceries, especially if you want to get everything in one store. So I made a plan before I came. I calculated all the amounts of all the food that I would need in order to hit enough calories and protein and all that sort of stuff. So I was just doing my best at finding the cheapest of like every food that I could. Like I looked for the cheapest tofu. If there was anything that was on sale, I would get that. And I tried to plan the recipes in such a way that I could use the same ingredients for multiple meals. You could definitely make this even cheaper if you wanted to cook your own beans and lentils and chickpeas from scratch. But I was trying to find like a good blend of convenience and also cost effectiveness. So that's why I chose the canned beans and lentils and that sort of thing. But they are generally pretty high in sodium unless you can find like a salt-free or low salt variety. And speaking of salt, store-bought sauces are absolutely loaded with salt and sugar. So I usually like to make my own. As you guys know, I have a ton of videos on this channel how to do that, but I had a hard time picking out a good sauce for these recipes, but I definitely picked the best one out of all the cheap sauces that I could find. But to keep this as inexpensive as possible, none of the ingredients in this video are organic. However, have a look because sometimes the organic food isn't all that much more expensive than the non-organic. And if you can, especially with things like grains, including, rice, oats, pasta, try and get that organic because they often have the highest pesticide residue of any food. I use a few spices in this video like garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper that I assumed you already have at home, especially if you're watching this channel already. So I didn't buy any of those, but man, things were adding up quickly. So this ended up costing me $61.82 Canadian, which is $45 US, which works out to $9 US per day.
All right, so let's get started with breakfast. And for this, I'm gonna make a tofu, chickpea, and veggie frittata. Start by chopping 2 medium-sized russet potatoes into pretty small chunks. Chop 1/3 of an onion, and then you're also gonna need 1.5 cups of sliced mushrooms. Get that into a preheated frying pan and saute for about 10 to 12 minutes. Make sure you stir it often. While that's cooking, we're gonna blend up the base of this. So this is gonna consist of 3 blocks of extra firm tofu, 2 cans or 3 cups of drained chickpeas, and add 1 cup of water. And I actually had to do this in 2 batches since we're making so much food, it wouldn't all fit in the Vitamix. And if you don't have a Vitamix with a tamper like this or a blender that'll kind of handle all this, you can definitely use a food processor as well. So just blend it all up until it's smooth. Put that aside and then chop 1 cup of fresh parsley, 10 cherry tomatoes, 1 red bell pepper, 3 stalks of green onions, 1/2 cup of salsa. Next, we're gonna mix that all together in a large mixing bowl with a tablespoon of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric. This is really just for color, so it's not totally necessary. 1/2 to a full teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. So just mix all that up. Oh my gosh, this is so much food, but it's breakfast for 5 days. We have to remember that. I think I'm gonna have to get some bigger bowls if I keep doing this meal prep stuff. And then you just want to put it into a large oven-safe baking dish. This one is 9 by 13, and I've just got some parchment paper on the bottom to help it from sticking. So you just want to smooth it out really well. And then on the top, I just like to add some of those sliced cherry tomatoes. Just makes it look so nice, but they also add a pop of flavor too. Then throw that into a preheated oven, bake at 350 degrees for about an hour or until the top starts to turn brown. Once it's all done, it should look something like this. All right, so that was a lot. I promise that's the most difficult recipe in this meal prep, but it's gonna be worth it. That frittata is so good. So the next thing we're gonna make is lunch, and this is gonna be a pasta with a lentil tomato sauce. And it should be pretty easy. So the first thing you wanna do is to get a big pot of water on the stove and get that boiling. While we're waiting for that to start boiling, I'm gonna saute some onions and mushrooms. So 1/3 of an onion chopped and 1.5 cups of chopped mushrooms. Once those are cooked, add 2 cans of strained lentils, and 2 cans, or about 5 cups, of garlic and herb pasta sauce. When the water's boiling, add 8.5 cups of rotini pasta. And then once the pasta's done, just strain it and then put it aside to cool along with the sauce and lentils. All right, we're almost done. I know it's a lot of work, but it's gonna be so worth it in the end when we just have meals for the week. No more cooking for the rest of the week. It's all gonna be ready and prepared for us. So for dinner, I'm gonna be making brown rice with black bean and broccoli stir fry with this like pad thai sauce. So of course you could have like any sauce you want. You could do, you know, like a sweet and sour kind of thing, or a teriyaki would probably be really good as well. So let's start by making some brown rice. So when making brown rice, just follow the instructions on the back of the package or look it up, because long grain is going to take a different amount of liquid than short grain. So this wants 2.25 cups of water to every cup of rice. So I'm going to be making 3 cups of rice. It's going to take 6.75 cups of water. And then in a frying pan, add the rest of that onion, so 1/3 of an onion chopped, 2 stalks of broccoli, all chopped up, and 3 cans or 4.5 cups of canned black beans that have been strained and rinsed. And then I'm gonna add about a cup of the pad thai sauce and stir all that together.
And that's it. Once everything is cooked and cooled, it's ready to be put into some containers. So with this veggie frittata, it's good, but I do find that it needs a little something to go with it. It's pretty dense, so some salsa or some ketchup goes great with it, and then just some tomatoes on the side. So I did test to see if all of these could be frozen, and they definitely can be, but you do kind of want to pick and choose what parts of it you freeze. Obviously, you wouldn't want to be freezing the tomatoes and the salsa. And then that pasta with the tomato and lentil sauce for lunch. So I just had some parsley left over for breakfast. I chopped that up and put it on top. And this can be frozen as well. You probably want to freeze the last 2 or 3 days worth of meals and then just either thaw them the night before or in a microwave or something like that. But don't use these black containers to reheat your food. These plastic containers are crap. They leach plastic into your food. You don't want to do that. And then for dinner, we've got the brown rice with black beans and broccoli and that pad thai sauce. I did add a little bit extra of this pad thai sauce on the top and then some avocado on the side. So again, you probably don't want to be adding the avocado if you're going to freeze it, and you don't want to add the avocado right at the beginning of the week because it'll probably brown by the end of the week. So just, cut a couple slices off and then throw it in your to-go containers. I did buy some apples to have as a snack throughout the day, and also some bananas because you got to get some fruit in you, some fresh food. And I just figured that would be a nice addition.
All right, so that's it for this meal prep video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely stick around if you want to see the macros and the nutrient breakdown. And I'll also put up on the screen the exact amounts of everything that I cooked with here so that you can take a screenshot of that and use it for a shopping list. All right, let's check it out.
First, I'll go over each meal individually, then we'll go over the full day, and then I will show you the full week's worth of ingredients so that you can either screenshot it or copy it down if you want to copy this meal prep exactly. Here's the tofu and chickpea frittata. It gives you about 489 calories, 39 grams of protein, 53 grams of carbs, and 17 grams of fat. Here's the macronutrient ratio. If you're interested, 27% protein, 43% carbs, 30% fat. And then as we scroll down, I'll just quickly let you look at this. And here's all the micronutrients as well. Moving on to the pasta with lentil and tomato sauce, it gives you about 882 calories, 36 grams of protein, 167 grams of carbohydrates, and 7.2 grams of fat. So this is a very carb-rich meal, but carbs are cheap, and protein-rich foods generally tend to be more expensive unless you just want to be eating like a ton of beans and lentils and stuff all day. So here's the macro ratio: 16% protein, 77% carbs, 7% fat. And then as we look down, you can see all the micronutrients here. And then dinner, brown rice with black beans, broccoli, and pad thai sauce gives you about 825 calories, 25 grams of protein, 155 grams of carbs, and 13 grams of fat. The macronutrient ratio is 10% protein, 76% carbs, and 14% fat. And here are all the micronutrients. And here's the full day, including an apple and a banana as a snack. I would love to have had more fresh food in here, like more greens and that sort of stuff, but the budget just didn't allow for it. So it's about 2,396 calories, 102 grams of protein, 428 grams of carbs, and 38.8 grams of fat. And then the macronutrient ratio is 15% protein, 71% carbs, and 14% fat. So as we go down here and look at the micronutrients. So a couple things that really stick out to me. Obviously, there's no B12 in that. If you're vegan and you're not consuming a B12 supplement already, you definitely want to consider that. Vitamin A is pretty low. So if we added like some carrots, or if we subbed out those regular potatoes for sweet potatoes, or you added some more dark leafy greens in there, or even had some like mango, that would have upped that. And then obviously vitamin D is almost non-existent as well, because you want to be supplementing that too. And then we've got vitamin E could be a little bit higher, you know, add some more nuts and seeds, maybe some mango would bring that up. And then looking at the minerals, it all looks pretty good to me. Obviously not a lot of iodine, so I mean, if you're using iodized salt, the sodium in this is very high, so you're probably gonna get enough iodine. But yeah, everything else looks really good. Like, look at that, 346% of your daily recommended intake of iron. And looking down further, like I said, the sodium is really high, and this is probably because of the canned beans and lentils and all that sort of stuff. So if you make your own, you can definitely control that a bit better, and then also making your own sauces will help control that too. And then here are the amounts for the entire week's worth of meals. So this was pretty much my shopping list. If you guys want to copy this or screenshot it, I'll scroll through it right here so you can have a look. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this meal prep video. And if you want more, let me know in the comments down below. They're a lot of effort, but I just want to help people with this video. So comment down below on how I can make these better if you want to see more, and I will see you soon with another video.
Here's some other videos of mine that I think you might like, and if you're looking for some delicious and healthy plant-based recipes, check out my new recipe ebook, Easy Vegan Comfort Meals. It contains over 60 plant-based recipes, lots of delicious sauces that I know you're gonna love. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the support.